What's going on, everyone? This is Ryan with Automatic Comics. And if you are not aware, Comic Link has one of their big signature auctions going on right now. This is more or less the equivalent of the big signature auctions that you see from Heritage. And so you've got some really cool stuff, some really big items, and figured I would give you my thoughts based on what I've seen. Now, this is all anecdotal because I did not price everything out like I normally do with some of the heritage auctions. This is just from books that I was watching, sales that I was looking at, that kind of thing. So from what I could tell, now this is the really high-end market. And I've been saying that in a lot of the other auctions that I've watched previously, like the big heritage auctions, it's even been big Comic Link auctions, big Comic Connect auctions. I've seen quite a bit of strength in the high-end market. I did not see that in this auction. Now, that doesn't mean that the high-end market is collapsing or anything like that, or falling apart or whatever. It's just from what I could tell, from what I was watching, it felt soft. And so what I mean there is that you're still getting big numbers on a lot of these books. I mean, you've got like a Captain America 1 sold for $250,000. This Marvel Mystery Comics #4 sold for $133,000. I mean, on this first page alone, there is well over $1 million in books that sold. I mean, there's still big numbers that are happening out there, but in this auction, things felt soft. Now, this could be a one-off auction. It could be people are on summer break right now. They're on their last vacations of the summer. They aren't watching these auctions. Or it could be, like maybe a little bit of, slowdown in this high-end market. I don't know. I can't say. Just telling you what I felt like I was seeing. Now, obviously, there are always going to be strong sales and weak sales. That happens in every auction. There's always going to be records. There's always going to be outstanding sales. And then there's going to be weak sales. This one just felt like, on average, when I was looking up sales numbers for these books after they had finished selling, they felt low. And so, and it wasn't, most of them weren't like big amounts down, but just they felt on average just like a little bit low. And we'll just start with Captain America Comics #1. Just kind of give you a little example. So you can see here that this sold for $250,420 for a 7.0, has the CVA sticker, which I don't know. I kind of make fun of those stickers. They slap them on there. The book looks like a 7.0, but it's got a CVA sticker on it. So this one, if we look at GPA, we look for 7.0. We got Captain America Comics #1. You can see here that 2022. We had a couple sales, one for about $340,000, one for $312,000. 2023, we had one sale for $300,000. This year, we had one sale for $266,814. And now for this one, we had a sale of $250,420. So that's what I mean. It's not like it's some massive drop or anything like that. It's $16,000 below, roughly $16,000 below the last sale, which is less than 10%. It's not some big massive drop, but it just feels a little bit soft on that sales number. So now let's jump down to Marvel Mystery Comics #4. This one sold for $133,000. If we jump over to GPA, we look this one up. Has not sold publicly. I've heard that maybe this copy had sold somewhere. Maybe it was on Comic Link. I don't know. But from my perspective, this one actually felt like a strong sale to me. I mean, it's the highest sale ever for this book. I mean, we have a 3.5 that sold for $47,000 in 2024. We have the 9.2 Billy Wright pedigree, which hasn't sold since 2012. We had a 5.5 Larson pedigree that hasn't sold since 2012. I mean, nothing like really high grade has sold publicly, at least that's gotten pulled in for quite some time. And so this one, I mean, it's tough to make a guesstimate on what this book might have sold for. I probably would have figured about $125,000. That's probably what I would have estimated for this book. And that would just be like, I mean, it's going for around 10, a little less than 10,000 a point at a 2.5, more than 10,000 a point, maybe like what, like 12,000 or 13,000 a point at a 3.5. If we go up to a 7.5, maybe you're up at, I don't know, like 15,000 a point, somewhere around there. And at 15,000 a point, that would put this book at what? So 7 times 15 is 105, and then a half. So that would be like 112. I think I did that right. Like 112,000. And maybe I'm even a little low there. That's what I said. I think like I estimated like maybe like 125. And it went for 133. Like, to me, this feels like a solid sale for that book, in my opinion. But so one kind of low, one being a solid sale. Then we had the Superman #1. This one, I can almost guarantee you we will see this book pop up again from a dealer. Like, there's some books that sell where you're just like, I'm pretty sure a dealer bought that book. And this Superman #1 feels like that to me. And when I say that, it's because like this one felt like it went really low. And what I would see someone probably doing with it is, because it's in this magazine case, because it has a huge spine roll that wasn't fixed. Maybe somebody was worried that if you fix the spine roll, like maybe it's still attached by one staple and it would detach or something. It's got like this loose piece inside the, here, if we take a closer look at it here, you can see it's got this loose piece that's like broken off inside the case. Here's that big spine roll. I mean, I imagine whoever gets this, like, even if it detaches, if you fix the spine roll, it's going to look better. You'll probably keep the 1.5. It'll fit in a standard size case. And I think it'll probably sell for more, because of that. But if we look at Superman #1 and, 1939, and we look at a 1.5, I mean, look at this. 1.8 went for 156, 1.5 last sale, 180, 1.5 incomplete. That was 2023, 174. 1.0 went for 90. 1.0 here went for 138. I mean, I just expect a dealer to crack this book out and then have it listed for like 175. They'll get it resubmitted. It'll look nicer. Maybe they won't even do that. Maybe they'll just list it like this. Then probably ask 175. That is my, my prediction for the future with Superman #1. I will not be surprised if I see this book pop up even on like, an Instagram seller or something like that. We'll see. You never know. But that is my prediction. All right. So that's Superman #1. This one felt really low, like just, I don't know if it's because it's the spine roll or what, but all that stuff, it's like, it's easy to fix. You can take care of that. Like, I feel like this was a very smart pickup. Then we've got Amazing Fantasy 15 in a 7.0 old label. It's got a little bit of chipping on the side, but pretty nice. This is a pretty nice looking book. So this one, I think it went more or less about what you might expect. So Amazing Fantasy #15 in a 7.0. And oh my God, I'll talk about this in a moment. But after we go over this. So 7.0 last sale 126, a 6.5 went for 90 earlier this year. We had a 7.5 go for 138. I mean, I'd probably think around 115, 120, and it sold for 115. Like, that seems reasonable. This one's pretty much right in line. Now, this is what I want to comment on. So, okay, this is an old label, all right, because I see posts about this every week, and I kind of joke about it with some people. Like, every week on either Facebook or on Reddit, somebody will post that they think they've received a fake comic and a fake graded book, and it's because it is in an older label. It's usually not this style, it's usually this style. So like most people are expecting to see them come through looking like this, like the darker grade in the upper left-hand corner, just the thicker plastic case and everything. And when they get them and they look like this one, or they look like, maybe this one, but this one is inevitable that someone's like, I think this is a fake. And it's always like some like $100 book or something. And you're like, nobody's faking that. It's not fake. It's just the older style case. Okay. Like, CGC has been grading books for like 25 years. They've gone through a variety of different case styles and little label modifications and things. And they've generally stayed pretty consistent, but you do get some variation. And this is, it's just, I just always think it's funny. It's basically, it's like clockwork. It's like every week I see a post where somebody thinks they've gotten, a fake book, and it's not. It's just an older label. All right. Now, I will say the Daredevil one, This one surprised me. Now it's down, like it's down from what it was during the comic boom, but actually really surprised me that this one still sold for as much as it did. I personally, I would not have paid that for this book. I just feel like it's corrected too much. And so like here you can see like, or it hasn't corrected enough. Like 2021 sold for 150,000, like peak comic boom. Then it went down in 2022 down to 90. And then this sale, 96,000. That's more than the 2022. That's still like the middle of the comic boom. That's more than the 2022 price. That is bananas to me, especially with how much this book has been correcting in other grades. And I don't think it's like really all that rare in that grade. Yeah, like 32 universals. Like it's not like quote rare in a 9.6. So I don't know, like that's one where I feel like that's like an instant loss in value with that purchase. And the fact that this is on Comic Link, it's not going to get posted on places like GPA. So there's not going to really be like a public sales record of that to show like, hey, someone paid this. Because when you look at like other high grade books, you compare like what it was selling for in 2022. And look at this. In 2022, this book was like a roughly $30,000 book. And then now it's selling for roughly 22. It's down 25%, give or take. And then this one, you know, someone paid more. Like I would have expected this book to be down around like 70, 65 to 70. And it sold for 96. So this one was a big upside surprise. All right, now let's go to X-Men #1. So X-Men #1. So 9.0, this is really a amazing looking copy. Now it does have, see in the upper right corner there, I'm guessing that's just distributor ink. That is my assumption on what that is. And, you know, which is a thing that doesn't really go against the grade unless it's awful, like it's like sprayed all over the front of the cover or something. Then it can hurt the grade. But this is a stunning book. It's got the dark green corner box, which just makes everything look nice. And this is a white page copy. 9.0 sold for 95,000. So if we look at X-Men #1 in a 9.0, let's take a look here. So just this year, 108,000. Last year, 109,000. 2023, 108 and 102. Like this is what I mean. It's like it's not like it's a weak sale, but it's down 13,000, which is about 12% roughly. And so it's just a little soft. You know, it's just like kind of a soft sale for that book, in my opinion, especially with how nice this one looks. I mean, I know it has that distributor ink up in the corner. Maybe that deterred someone a little bit, but this is a stunning book. All right, now we've got the Startling 49. This is one that I was very interested in. I didn't know where it was going to go. I had no idea where this book was going to sell. This is my favorite cover of all time. So Startling Comics #49. It's called the Bender cover because it looks like Bender from Futurama. And we also did get confirmation that Bender was based on this character. Matt Groening actually did reference this comic in the creation of Bender. So 9.6. That is the highest grade for this book, but there are 6 of them. And so it's not like single highest or anything. And when you're talking about high-end books like this is why I wasn't sure really where it was going to go. When you're talking about high-end books like this, all the ones that I've seen sell do have better page quality than this book. And so you wonder how much that's really going to impact things. Like this is a creamed off white page copy. There's a white page. There are, I think, 2 off white to white. I think the Mile High pedigree is an off white to white. The Promise collection is an off white to white. The white page is actually a non-pedigree book. Like if we jump over to Startling #49 and just kind of get an idea, you know, on this one. I have my 4.5 of this book, but yeah, 9.6 is something else. So here you can see, here's the Edgar Church Mile High. This one sold in 2016 for 100,000. The Mile High pedigree it does get big bumps. But yeah, off white to white pages for that one. Then we've got the Promise collection. This one sold for 132, kind of comic boom period. I don't know if it would sell for that today, but this one also off white to white. Then if we go to the 9.6 here, that sold for 64,000, which is looking like a, or no, this one, the 55,000, looking like a steal today, because this is a white page copy. So we've got a white page, and I mean, just colors on that are just bananas. Like this is like, I know that the pedigrees will often get a premium, but like this looks like the book to me. Like if you're buying Startling Comics number 49 and you want the best copy that's out there, this is probably the one. I mean, it's the white page copy. The colors are just incredible on it. I mean, it's not, I'm not like saying like that the Promise collection or the Edgar Church are like anything to sneeze at, but man, if you're doing like the comparison of books, like this looks like the book. And then we've got two that sold because this one was off white. So that's one, that's two, this is three, this is four. And so we're accounting for four of them, and they all have better page quality. And so that's why like 90 is about what I was thinking. You know, I figured it would go below what some of those others did. And so but I could have seen it getting up to around 100. And so this one, again, it felt like a little soft, but I'm not all that surprised given of the 6 copies that are in a 9.6. This one is probably like in terms of like page quality and everything, those little intangibles, like maybe it's not quite as nice as the others. Also, I am like 99% sure this was a 9.4 before, and it got resubmitted. And so, I mean, that doesn't necessarily take anything away from it, you know, but I'm pretty sure it was a 9.4 because I'm almost certain I found the copy. I think it was this one. And I'll tell you why I think it was this one. So even though I know, like, and this is an older scan, like this is from 2006, but when you look at the bottom left corner, so this is the, you know, the bottom left corner here, this, you know, bindery tear issue thing in the bottom left corner, and you look at this one, it has that same, I don't know if you can see it. It has that same, I can see it a lot better when I can zoom in on my phone, but it has that same little bindery thing down in the corner. So, and like the other things you can do is, you know, you kind of look at like how much space is there between, you know, detective over here and detective over here. And this one, you know, like just like little things, like whereas, you know, here's how much space is between Zella and this, and how much space is down here between Zella. Like I think they're probably the same book. I could be wrong, but I think it was probably resubbed, and you know, it was a, let's see, I think this one was also creamed off white. Yeah, this one was also creamed off white. So I think that this book was probably, you know, cracked out, resubbed. I mean, it was an old graded book. I mean, it sold in 2006, and somebody was able to pull a 9.6 out of it, and they, you know, probably got a pretty big jump in value for that. I don't know when that was done. I mean, we can guess, like if this is a 4.5, it was probably done this year or late last year. But yeah, I think it was probably that 9.4. And so I also wasn't sure, you know, if other people caught on to that or not. Because like whenever you add like a big book like this, like I often think that it probably got bumped up from a lower grade. And so I just figured I'd try looking, and I'm pretty sure that that's what that was. But yeah, then we've got, this was a pretty impressive book. I mean, this is a really iconic Captain America comics cover, very in-demand one. But a 9.6, single highest graded, Captain America comics number 37. So let's take a look at that one. So Captain America number 37. So this one sold for 87,000. I don't think this has ever sold before. Yeah. So this is another one where why it's like it felt soft because we had the Promise collection, and I know that was comic boom period. But the Promise collection copy sold for 87,000 in 2021. This copy sold for 87,000 now. You know, and it's a 9.6 versus a 9.2. So I mean, kind of rip to whoever bought the Promise collection copy, because I mean, that would probably, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, like now that 9.6 is out there, because it was probably the highest graded copy. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe it wasn't. Well, let's check. Let's see. So when it sold, A 1 and 9.2, one higher. So, oh, and now there's a 9.4. I wonder if somebody cracked and resubmitted the 9.2. Maybe they got a 9.4. Maybe it's not a 9.2 anymore. I don't know. That's interesting. Yeah, maybe somebody resubbed this one. They thought it could get a better grade, and they got a 9.4 out of it. I don't know. That's interesting. I don't know. We'll know if it ever comes up for sale again as the Promise Collection copy. But regardless, like this is one that, I mean, yeah, it's a lot of money, but it went for the same as the 9.2 did, a number of years ago, and so this again feels a little soft. Now this one was interesting. Silver Surfer #1. Largely because this is a 9.8. This is from and I'm not gonna be able to pronounce that right, from this pedigree, and it's a white page copy. The reason I find this one interesting is that I have been saying, like, I've had some people I've talked with that are interested in, high grade Silver Surfer, and I'd been saying, I'd be really cautious with that book because I felt like it was way overpriced right now and was going to drop. And, part of that is because, look, 2016, 33,000, and then it jumps to 132,000. We had the Boston pedigree for 132 last year, another 9.8 here for 132. And then this one, I'm telling you, like, those people that paid 132 are real glad this copy sold on Comic Link. They do not, I guarantee you, they don't want that $70,000 sale popping up on here, like cutting their $132,000 purchase from 4 months ago in half. And let's see if this was a white page copy. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. Off-white to white. So an off-white to white page copy sells for 132. A white page copy sells for 70. This is another one that I would not be surprised if we see this pop up at either some like big comic store, you kind of know the ones, or a dealer or something for like 125 or 130 grand. And somebody will pay it. They'll pay it. They will, because they're going to see this sale. They're going to see this sale, and they're going to go, yeah, that's what it's been selling for. So this was another one that I was just like, yeah, I'm pretty sure a dealer bought this book. We'll see. You never know for sure, but that would be my very educated guess. Now this was interesting because this was the 9.9 Fantastic Four #55, because I actually talked about this book in a recent video, and then it came up for sale. And so I wasn't specifically talking about this, like this sale here, but we were talking about a high grade FF55 and the fact that there was a 9.9 out there. This did actually set the record. So 65,555. So if we go to Fantastic Four #55, 9.9s, they're still getting the love. It'll be interesting to see how PSA impacts that with the 10s, because we're seeing quite a few 10s come out already. So I'll be interested to see how that all plays out. But in 2015, sold for $31,070. So 10 years ago, sold, not this one, sold for over double, $65,555 for Fantastic Four #55 and a 9.9 single highest graded copy. So, say what you want about 9.9s and kind of how crazy it is up at that level of grading, but the demand is there for it. The ability for somebody that has the money to hold it over the other collectors, to be like, yeah, you've got your 9.8. That's nice. I have the single highest 9.9. Mine is graded better than yours. And the ability to say that has, made people willing to pay these, really high prices. Now, the next two, these ones, Hulk 181 9.8 owners are not going to want these ones pulled into GPA or Go Collect or anything either. These were a step down because these are both 9.8 white page copies. This one definitely has a pretty decent miswrap, like that's a downside for that copy, but this one doesn't really. A little bit of one, but it's pretty square. So both 9.8 white page copies, one signed by Stan Lee, the other one unsigned, 57,000 and 60,000. These have been going over 70 lately. So that is definitely a step down. So Hulk #181, first full appearance of Wolverine. it's the book everybody wants, right? You know, like it's got the cool cover. And so if we look at a 9.8 of this in the white page category, I don't know if all these are white page. I know this one is a white page. I haven't checked all of these. Oh, this one's off white to white. Oh, man, went for 72. Then let's check out this one. This is a white page, went for 66. This one was a white page, went for 66. Let's see, what's the 58.8? That was a white page. I had not seen this sale. I don't know when that happened. I must have missed that one. But yeah, that's definitely a low point for that book. And then let's see, what was this one? The $60,000 sale. This one is come on there. White page too. So, I mean, it has actually trended back down, which it's what I was expecting. You know, like I felt like 70 had been, like we had the sale in here, like where it looked like it had been trending down in 2023. Then it jumped back up in 2024, which surprised me. Maybe it was Deadpool and Wolverine that did that. I don't know. And then in 2025, looks like we're trending back down, because I had been saying I felt like this book should be down around like 55. And so 58, 60, this one going for 57. It's actually kind of in line. It's not as weak as I thought. I had thought that this had been a little weaker, because I'd been seeing the ones I'd been paying attention to had been more around the mid to upper 60s, if not 70. And this is actually down, you know, around where it's actually been selling the last couple times. So is still trending down. I do still think it's about a $55,000 book, but actually not as weak as I was thinking with those. Didn't really look at this one, the Daredevil 2 9.8. This one though, this is the Holocaust cover, Captain America Comics number 46 in 8.0. This is down some. I believe its prior sale was somewhere around like 55. But let's look at Captain America number 46. So this, I consider this one of the most historically significant covers of all time for comics. And yeah, you can see here, 2023 sold for 55,200. This one, I mean, it's a tough book to price, because it's kind of, the pricing is kind of all over the place in here. I mean, you can see a 4.0 going for 27,000, and a 4.5 going for 17, a 5.5 going for 26, a 6.0 for 31. Kind of like people just aren't really sure how to value that book, but we did have this $55,000 sale. I probably would have thought it would go for around the same, you know, around 55, and it went for 47. So it's not, again, not like really weak or anything. $8,000, $7,500 less, about 12, 13% again, maybe. And so it's just a little soft on that sale. Now let's keep moving down here. Let's find, I think, was this one? I think this was another one that I thought, I was pretty sure a dealer probably picked up. Let's check though. I kind of thought about buying this book. So Detective 33, just because, I mean, it's a cool cover. It's super early Batman. This is the 4th Batman cover. Yeah. So this one, 42,507. I know it's got the note with a small amount of glue on the spine. That is not going to matter. I'll tell you that right now. But yeah, because the last sale here, 62,058. This is another one where I can almost guarantee you a dealer bought this one. I could be wrong. You know, you never know. But I would not be surprised if we saw this pop up for like 60,000. We'll see. I have some ideas, but I was tempted. I was tempted to make this one work at that price point for a Detective Comics 33 for a very nice looking copy of that book. Yeah, I mean, I know it's got like a little dust shadow down on the right, but man, like that is a nice looking book. I don't remember if it's the same one or not. Let's check. So see if it has what's the, yeah, 411. Yeah, same book. So same book, sold 62,000 in 2023. This time came up again, sold for 42,000. So I don't know if that's the person who bought it or if it changed hands any other times in between there, but pretty substantial drop. But it's not going to get pulled into GPA. So I imagine somebody's going to try to sell it for like 60, 65, somewhere in that range. This one was tough. The Pep Comics 22. I did expect it to sell for more, though. I mean, it's an extensive A5. It has had a lot of work done to it, but it's still a Pep 22. It's still first appearance of Archie, first appearance of Betty, first appearance of Jughead. And we've seen, we have some comparables for Pep 22s that have had a lot of work done to them. So Pep number 22. Let's see here. This is one again. I wouldn't be surprised if this was a dealer pickup, but not as confident in that one. But if we add in the restored books, you can see like a 9.4 A5 restored sold for $70,000 10 years ago. Now, if we look at a C3 restored, so that's amateur in like a moderate amount, sold for $31,000. A C2 sold for $26,000. You can't. Restoration is tricky because you can see how this one, a 9.0 extensive, around the same time went for 30. Like the 70 was probably high, but I still would have thought probably like 50, maybe 50 to 60. 60 might even be on the high end, 50 to 55, and went for 37,000. So this one felt low. I didn't feel like there were enough notes in the graders notes to really make a good assessment on what all was done to this book. That was one of the things that I feel like was a little disappointing when I checked the graders notes for this book. I was expecting to see a lot more extensive notes, and they really, I don't think there were. Let's double check that. But so we've got 4586. So 4586. And then 013007. 013007. Yeah. They didn't. Sometimes you'll see like when they put in the restoration notes, in the graders notes, they'll have like this was done and this was done and this was done and this was done. And they'll say it's like A5 for this or A4 for this or A1 for this, for the different types of work that had been done. They didn't have any of that. They just have what's on the label. And for a book like Pep 22, like guaranteed walkthrough book, like someone probably paid $1,500 to have this graded or $1,000 to have it graded. Pretty disappointing graders notes, I'll say, for this one. And so that was one of the things that actually, like, I just having no idea the extent of like, what was the pieces added? Is it pieces added A1 or is it pieces added A5? Because when you have the A5, it's kind of the combination of all the work, but how much of this cover is a recreation? And I have no idea. Like, is it almost the whole thing? And so that was why I was pretty disappointed in not seeing those notes there. And that's what prevented me from really having much interest in bidding. And I wonder if that hurt this book. The fact that it didn't have that level of detail, if that hurt that book for other people thinking the same thing that I was, where I was like, man, like, I don't really know everything that was done. And I feel like, I don't know, that felt lazy to me on the grading side. I feel like for a book like that, that should have especially had that level of detail in the notes for the restoration work that was done. But here's another 9.9. Though I'll stop my complaining there. Another 9.9 that was pretty impressive. 9.9 Amazing Spider-Man number 194 sold for $36,888. First appearance of Black Cat. Amazing Spider-Man number 194. That 9.9, a 9.9 has sold before. So it's not like this is the first time. In 2014, we had a sale for $5,079. That's what I'm saying. These 9.9s, they're still going strong. Despite what, it's going against what I would have expected. It feels like we've been getting more of them, and with PSA entering it and doing 10s and all of that, like, you would think this would end up hurting the value of those books, and it just doesn't seem like it is. And so 9.9 and a newsstand, which is bananas. But yeah, 9.9, $36,888. I mean, 7 times what that book sold for 11 years ago. And when you look at a 9.8 newsstand going for about $2,000 right now, maybe a little more, sold for about 18 times. So when I mention, like, I usually do like 20x multiples, that's where it's usually a pretty good rule of thumb. And that sold for 18 times roughly the 9.8 price. So not a huge, like, that's probably around what I would expect for that book. This was a surprising sale. This was a very strong sale. Crime Patrol number 15, 9.2. Not a Gaines file copy either. But this is the first appearance of the Crypt Keeper. So crime suspense stories. Number, not 22. What am I doing? Crime Patrol number 15. I'm so used to typing crime suspense stories. Crime Patrol number 15. I think this was like the highest sale ever for this book in any grade, even though there are 9.8s. Yeah. So a 9.8 sold in 2022 for $36,000. This one, a 9.2, not white pages, creamed off white, sold for $36,619. That was an exceptional sale for that book. I don't know if these sales down here really impacted it. You have to kind of ignore the 6.0 sale if you're not aware. And that's why, like, when you see big outliers like that, you got to do like a little more research. And so with this one, this is from the Roger Hill collection. And this was the first set of books that came up, and people were definitely paying big premiums for Roger Hill books. And so that's why you can see, like, this sold for 28.8, but then not too long after, we had a 16.8 for a book that was higher grade. And so this is an outlier. You cannot, like, you should just ignore it. It's almost like a pedigree sale. Like, you just got to kind of ignore that in the grander, general grade or general pricing for this book. And so, but yeah, like, this was net 9.2 sold for $6,700 in 2018. 7 years later, 6 times much. So yeah, this was a exceptional sale for that book, I will say. This book has continued its trend down here for higher number 1. Rip the guy who paid, or girl, whoever, who paid the $100,000 plus for that book on that. I think it was a Comic Connect auction. Was it Comic Connect? Maybe it was Comic Link. We'll just look that one up. Oh man. I mean, that's why if a book hasn't sold for a while in a grade, you don't want to be the first person in that, like, buys that thing, because you're going to get wrecked. So yeah, here was that $102,000 in 2022. I was on Heritage. Okay. 102. So this is like a Comic Boom sale, 102,000. Then we had multiple copies kind of keep coming up for sale. Like, seems like almost like one each year. Dropped to 64, dropped to 48, then 49 here. I think there was another Comic Link sale that went around this price that happened at some point. But then this one here selling for 35. Will somebody, try to put it up for, around 48 or 49? It's possible. I mean, it's a 9.8, it's a white page copy. That is a possibility. But yeah, that book just, yeah, it keeps marching down. I mean, when it's, again, you look at what it sold for pre-Comic Boom, it was 16,000. And when I see stuff like that, when I see those numbers, and then I see this insane number during the Comic Boom, like, I wouldn't be comfortable buying that book until it got back probably down into the 20s, like low 20s, low to mid 20s, maybe. I mean, because who knows how many more copies are out there now. Let's check. So this book, 12 and 9.8, none higher, when it sold in 2022. There are now 17. So since then, 5 more 9.8s have been added. That's the stuff that you have to be concerned about when you're talking about this level of book, that it's a Bronze Age book. There are going to be more out there that are going to be found. They're going to be high grade. And so the census is increased by almost 50% in a 9.8. And that's going to drive, like, those people are generally, when they get them, they're going to sell them. And it's just going to drive down the value for that book. So it's the type of thing you got to be, be cautious of. All right. I think we're almost, I don't want to talk. You've been listening for a long time. If you're still with me, I really appreciate it. We got to talk about the Ultimate Fallout 4, 9.9. Incredible sale for that book. $31,001. I had estimated it would go for around 20, but I also said I wouldn't have been surprised if it went for more, and it went for more. It went for 31,100 or $1. This book is going for, and I did a short about this, a little short video about this. It's going for around 850 right now. This is like 36x, like a 36x multiple. I've had multiple people comment or tell me that they're like, oh, I think this is, it's going to be a $50,000 book. I personally think it's going to go the other direction. I would not be surprised if we get more 9.9s at some point from CGC. That's one thing. Like, this is currently the single highest graded. That would make it no longer the single highest graded. I also would not be surprised if we maybe start getting a few 10s or maybe a bunch of 10s. Who knows? Like, if people are going to try to submit them to cross grade to PSA, 9.8s to cross grade to PSA to see if they can get 10s of this book. And then what is the impact going to be on the price when that happens? So those are the things that would make me very, very nervous about the value of this book longer term in this grade. But we'll see. You never know until it happens. And, I'm just speculating. All right. We'll just briefly say, like, 9.8 Giants is X-Men 1. This has definitely been trending down. I'm not surprised. I felt like it was still too expensive. $24,000 for a 9.8 white pager is definitely a drop for that book. I don't know if there's anything else on this page. Let's go check out. I had the second page pulled up because there were a couple books on here that I wanted to talk about. One that it's a book I own, so I like to talk about it. So we've got, let's see, where is it here? Oh yeah, this is it. We had Black Cat. We had two copies of Black Cat 50 that sold in this auction. We had a 5.0 and we had a 1.0 or a 1.5. I think it was a 1.0. Both of them I felt did pretty exceptionally well, did really well. So I'm always happy to see that. It's always fun to see books that you own have strong sales. So Black Cat 50, classically Elias, like melting face cover, like one of the most gruesome pre-code horror covers of the Golden Age. But we had a 5.0 go for 17,850. It's right around what I was expecting or hoping for, I guess, this book. So let's see. So we've got Black Cat Mystery Comics number 50 in a 5.0. So you can see here we had a 5.5 go for 20,000. We had a 4.5 go for 16,000. So I figured around 18 for a 5. And this one sold for, where'd it go? 17,850. So I feel like that was a solid sale for that book. Not high, not low, just solid sale for that book. The 1.0, I think did, let's see if there's anything else here. Oh yeah, we'll talk about this one in a moment. I'll open that in a new page just so that we can go and search for that 1.0. Black Cat number 50. Yeah, so here's the 1.0. And this one actually sold on my comic shop previously. So my thoughts with this book was that, it's a 1.0, it's a split cover detail, or it's partially split. It may be completely split now. I mean, this is graded a long time ago. And if this was fragile, maybe it's fully split. But I don't think the back cover looked too bad. Yeah, back cover looked pretty good. I felt like this book could be a 1.5. But I was wondering, like, why the person resold it so quick. I wonder if they were thinking the same thing and then they got it in hand and maybe decided not to do it. But this does feel like, a book that, for a low grade book, this presents really, really well. There's no big pieces missing or anything. We know that without tape, the best you can do, according to Matt Nelson in his interview, said you could get a 1.8 with a completely split spine if there's no tape. There's tape, you can get 1.5. The other things come into account here too, like there's other wear and stuff, but it feels like to me this could get a 1.5. And so if we look up Black Cat Mystery and we go down to the 1, last sale for a 1 was 58.55, and I think that was this book. Let's check. Yeah, old cert number. Yeah, it was this copy sold in my comic shop. And either the person felt like they got a deal, really good deal, and they could sell it pretty quickly, or they thought they decided against trying to, switch it out for a 1 or trying to get a 1.5 on it. But this book sold for 7,000. sold for right around what the 1.5 sold for recently, 7,700. So it was a solid sale for a 1. If it could bump up to, 1.5, maybe you get a little extra value out of the book. But yeah, I feel like this one, it just, looking at it here, it looks like it's got a shot at doing that, in my opinion. But all right, last book we're going to talk about. I appreciate it. If you've stuck with me this whole time. I think I lost my page there. So the last book I wanted to talk about, just because you don't see it very often, was this one, Detective Comics #1. This is from the DC Universe collection. This has been selling on this other auction platform, PBA Auctions, I think is what it is. This was one, and we're closing out with one that was, turned down some. This sold on PBA for, I think, like 22 or 23,000, somewhere in that range. And here sold for 17.5. I mean, I felt like, we'll take a look. I felt like the PBA sale was a little high, so I'm not totally surprised. But this is one of those books that it's like you only get so many opportunities to pick them up, so they're going to go for quite a bit, regardless. Even though it's a 0.5, it's a married cover, it's tons of restoration, all of that. So here, I mean, here's a 0.5 that's missing a ton of pages, sold for 15,600 in 2021. If we add in all the restored books, let's see what we've got here. We had a 3.5 trim that sold for 28.8. That's why I felt like the 22 or 23 that it sold for on the other auction platform was maybe on the high side. So I'm not really surprised by this number. I still thought maybe it might get up to 20. But I mean, when you look at the notes, it does have a lot. Like it's color touch, it's extensive C5, so it's amateur and extensive. Color touch pieces added, tear seals, centerfold, and page 23 missing. Centerfold is a color copy, married cover. So a lot of stuff, done to this book. But still a Detective Comics #1, super rare, tough book. But yeah, that's the last book I'm going to talk about. There's tons of books that sold in this. If you want to go check out this auction, it's still going on. It's still expensive stuff, but it's the next tier down books. All the big stuff has sold already. Like the really big stuff has sold already. But if you enjoyed this video, if this is just something you could listen to while you're out there mowing the lawn or whatever, appreciate it. Hit the like button, subscribe button, notification bell, and I will see you on the next one.